It's just an illusion. Oh, 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 oh. Illusion. Oh, 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 oh. Illusion. Oh, 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 oh. Confusion. Oh, 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 oh. All right, guys. Sometimes we think things are a certain way, but we don't have all the information. We find ourselves in a bit of a position that we are very uncomfortable in. Sometimes we will be comfortable because we're assuming that everything is actually what we think it is. You know, like a magician. A magician will show you a trick. He'll pull a rabbit out of a hat. And you'll assume, wow, he's magical. Or he'll take a coin, pull the coin from your ear. You say, wow, how do you do that? In life, there's going to be certain positions or certain things we'll experience. We will think that we know certain things when we have no idea. And it was designed that way because sometimes we cannot handle the circumstances that are occurring in our surroundings. Sometimes we might find ourselves witnessing something that we only think we witnessed. Growing up in New Jersey, we lived in a house. It was an older house. And nothing was cleaned out of these little secret places in the basement. No blankets were removed. The different items that were purchased in the house remained in the house. So one day we decided we were going to play hide and seek. You know, it was I used to love to play this game, you know. So we play hide and seek and everyone would find a place. And one day they could not find me in my hiding place. In this hiding place, the blankets and nothing was removed. And it was a secret room because no one would go into this room. But I felt like this was the best hiding place. But in this room, someone had passed away in this room. Whenever there's a room where someone has passed away in this room and the spirit has not cleared, or the spirit has not, maybe the spirit has no idea that they've passed away. So the spirit was in this room. Now, of course, I'm a child. So people say, oh, she doesn't know what she's talking about. She doesn't know what she saw. It was a Hispanic man in the basement of this house, okay? And he's trying to communicate something. But I did not. How can you respond to something when you're in a different position where you're not sure? As your father said, do not respond to this thing if it's not the truth. And you're back and forth. You have your mind in so many different places. But one thing you are able to identify with, and that is fear. Sometimes we have a great deal of fear when these things happen. You know, we constantly talk on this station, or this channel, about your intuition. Your intuition helps you when you are trying to figure certain things out. First of all, your intuition is stepping in to help you. Because if certain things are happening in your surroundings, they are there to help you to understand. They're able to help you to get out of a situation or to learn from the experience, okay? Now, nobody in the family would want to go into that room after that happened, okay? But that room still never was cleaned out. When you're buying a house, one thing you want to do is clear everything out before you even move your own furniture in. Remove all of the items from the previous person. Clean the house. You want to walk through the house and pray, get the house blessed, okay? Now, there are a lot of people who speak of these very things, but they don't believe in God. They don't believe in a lot of different things. But you would think that they do because they play or they speak a good thing, okay? They speak of these things, but they're not actually totally in tune with these things. It sounds good. And sometimes people will say, you know what, she's not Christian or she's not whatever because she's spiritual. And spiritual, we don't believe in that. Everyone has been given a gift of being here. And while you're here on this planet, okay, you have the option to choose whatever religion you want to be a part of. People can oppose your opinion, that's fine. People can say whatever it is that they choose to say. But if it is your experience, it is your experience, you know? There are certain people who have certain gifts, and people question those gifts that those people have because they say that's impossible, impossible, okay? But how impossible is something when one person says they see it and they understand certain things and the other person doesn't, okay? One of the movies that I constantly watched with my mom was Ghost, okay, with Whoopi Goldberg. And certain scenes that played out in that movie, some people question it and some people believe it, okay? So if it's in a movie, most cases, it's more than likely it's happened. In some cases, not all, okay? It is up to you to decipher. And basically, you don't even have to decipher with your own eyes. You can ask God for his guidance. You can ask for his direction. You can ask for his understanding. Sometimes we put certain things on other people. We don't believe in other people. We assume certain things about other people. But at the end of the day, you must look at your own tuning in of that situation, okay? Sometimes you can say, oh, that was a drone, or no, that was a plane, or that was a helicopter. People assume things all of the time. The problem is that nobody believes anything until something flat out crazy or weird to you happens, okay? I could tell you I saw a UFO just the other day. You wouldn't believe me because you're saying, well, what does UFO look like? You know, you start wondering. People say things all of the time. People experience things all of the time. Who are you to question someone else's experience? Who are you to question what another person sees or hears? It is important, mucho importante, that we look at our own experiences. God is allowing us to have these experiences for a reason. For us to not only experience these things, but to grow and learn from these things. Why is it that we're not growing and learning from it? Because we're getting so caught up in our cell phones. We're getting so caught up in watching TV. We're getting caught up in mass media. We're getting caught up in a lot of things, okay? I can be accused of it myself. Watching videos, watching things that, you know, really, if we were to tap in and tune in, touch nature, really sit out in the elements, the necessary information would come to us. The problem is we are blocking it with all the different distractions. I told you before. My great-grandmother used to say this all the time. You are being distracted from what God is showing you because you're so distracted in watching TV and internet and everything else. All these things are distractions. While you're distracted, how are you tuning in? How are you gaining information, okay? Meditation, okay? When you take the necessary time out, there's nothing anyone else can tell you. You will be able to decipher, you will be able to understand, you will be able to believe and understand what it is that you are supposed to believe and understand. Because it is you who is having this experience, okay? Every individual was born here or there, and this is your personal experience. You have choice. God has given you all these different choices, all these different options. What are you doing with them? Are you distracted? Are you not doing the things that you feel that you could do? Listen, we all have our own experiences, and some of us choose to take the experience and live it out, okay? There was a homeless man the other day who was on this show, or somebody was interviewing, it wasn't a show. And he was talking about the different the neglectful things we do, okay? How we're so much in a rush. I can be accused of this myself. I am in a rush a lot of times. Today I had to slow myself down and say, look, why are we rushing? You can walk there. You don't have to run. But what it is we've gotten ourselves so caught up in a society of instant gratification. Wanting things instantly. Wanting things, and we got to have it now. We got to do this now. And what happens? We rush our lives away. Take the necessary time. They're cutting down all the trees and building all these different platforms of concrete. When are you going to be able to enjoy the trees if not now? There's so much going on out here, okay? I really wanted to go further into a certain subject today. But you know what? Maybe I'll hold this one back for now. Because when we look at illusions, we think we know something. We think we are really watching something. The first thing we have to acknowledge is God is in power, okay? It is God's job to take care of certain things, okay? The minute you think you can take care of everything and you can control everything is the minute that you are neglecting your position. Your position is not to judge. Your position is not to take over. Your position is to merely take it to God and observe, okay? You can choose to observe or not. Either way, you are taking it to God in prayer or otherwise. Spiritually, we are connected to God. People sit up here and they say, okay, I'm going to take care of this, take this into my own hands, and find yourself behind behind four walls and not being able to leave when you so choose to. That is the reason why no matter what anyone says or does, I have to deal with God. I have to spend that necessary time with God. I can sit up here and get upset or whatever. There's some things that I'm telling you I am really annoyed with. I'm very disappointed with. But if I bring it to you and I'm just basically complaining, there's nothing you can do about it. So basically what we do is we take it to God, okay? There's a great deal of mayhem going on in the background. People are doing things and they think they're going to get away with it. As I stated earlier, okay, in a previous platform, okay, I specifically said, if you wish bad on other people, bad comes to you. People didn't acknowledge that. They didn't see that. They said, oh, what's she talking about? Oh, she's always talking some junk like that. My siblings called me an Oreo growing up, Regardless of what you think I am, you can think whatever it is that you're choosing to think. But your actions are what are going to either guide you in a good place or in a bad place, okay? Now, I'm going to tell you, all of us are not on the same page when we are constantly fighting. And we can always agree to disagree, because I'm not always going to agree with what you say. You're not going to always agree with what I say. But at the end, we are to acknowledge truth at the end of the day. So, that's been my word. You enjoy your day. And please, thank you so much for joining us here at Indigo Moon. You have a good one.